Good morning, everybody. Hi, Pat. You jumped right on. You must have been eagerly waiting. How are you this morning? Hi, Jean. How's everybody doing? Hi, Kathy, Karen. Whoops.
Hi, Pat. You jumped right on.
I need to mute my speakers
You
here.
must have been eagerly waiting.
Okay, I think I did that. Didn't want to hear myself echoing in the background. Let's get rid of this. Okay. So it's cold and rainy here in Ohio. I'm thinking about everybody that's being affected by the hurricane that came up through the Gulf. Again, thinking about everybody in California, Colorado, although just so much going on Mother Nature wise that raining in New York too. Yeah. Just thinking about everybody that, you know, I really can't complain about a little bit of rain when you think about what everybody else is going through across the country. Oh, it's not snowing. Oh my goodness. I love the snow, but I'm really not ready for it yet. Around Christmas time is fine. Hi, Teresa. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I had come across a quilt pattern for mug rugs on Pinterest, and I'm still on the gnome thing. It was really cute, and I thought, oh, that would make such a cute card. Plus, with the geometrics that's in it, it's pretty easy. It's triangles and it's rectangles, so it's pretty easy. You can put a lot of them together quickly. What we're going to be doing is I sized this for a 3x3 card. Of course, you could make it bigger, but I wanted to make some little cards that I can put on packages at Christmas time. You could easily turn this card into a tag if you wanted to, but I'm sticking with the little 3x3 cards. Hey, Teresa. So let's, I'm going to flip the screen around and we'll get started. You probably noticed that on my business page, I did give you the cutting instructions in case you wanted to do this along with me. If you're like me, I like to watch the video first that anybody does, and then I go back and make it, because I'm going to, number one, get a lot of ideas from the comments that people are making, or if the person doing the video is giving you options that might, you know, go off in my brain and like, oh, wait a minute, I think I want to do this. So I like to watch before I make, but if you're making along with me, that's a lot of fun too. So I'm going to switch the camera around. There we go. Now let's just see if I can. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, so these are our little gnome cards. And I did a Christmas variation. And then I also did this little gnome from the Whale's Tail DSP. I think it would make a cute baby shower card to go along with a gift. If you changed this up and used any pinks, you could find a way to make this a girl gnome. I don't know. I don't know if girl gnomes have beards, though. I've never seen a girl gnome. Has anybody seen a girl gnome? That's a really good... I don't know if you could make this a girl. I might have to research that. But I thought it would make a really nice baby shower card to accompany a gift, or make it bigger. You could certainly make this a birthday card for a little person, you know, for little kids who like the gnomes. But this is the one, this is the Christmas one that I want to do today. Hi, Marilyn. How are you doing? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our grid. I'm going to show you how I drew it out. Put that there. Okay. So what I did was I drew out a 2-inch square on my grid. I know it's 8 squares because each inch equals 4 of these squares. So I just counted 8 squares and drew my square. And then I drew a line horizontally right through the middle. And now what I'm going to do, so that I know where my hat goes, I'm going to start and I'm going to draw a line to the halfway mark at the top, the 1 inch. And then I'm going to bring it back down through those squares to where my line is. I just now created a triangle. So this basically is the shapes and the pieces that you're going to use to make the gnome. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my pieces. I like to lay out my pieces before I put them down. So here was the 1 inch by 2 inch rectangle. And there's my hat. And these are going to be my background pieces. So I like to see if I like what's going on. And I do like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some cutting right now. So let's just set this aside. I'm going to show you how I cut the triangles. And I hope I'm going to have to push some things back here so I have room to get the trimmer in. And I think I need to push it a little bit further back because I want to show you something that I showed Saturday when it comes to cutting triangles and what the Stampin' Up! Trimmer really helps with. There, I think we can get the bottom of the track in. Okay, so my squares that I wanted to use for his hat, this measured was a 1 3/8 of an inch square. And if you set your square down to the bottom of your track on the new trimmer, you'll see that the point nests really well right in between like these two little bumpers. And then you can line up your point in the track, in the cutting track. So that holds it really nice. And then what I do is I bring my blade down, I put it in the center it over the square there that's on point, and I put the cover down, and then I push in so my blade is now in my paper, and I go down and I go up. And it seems to hold the paper in really nice. And then you've got your 2 half square triangles. Now you're only going to need 1 for the hat, so that means you can make another card with the other piece. And then what we'll do is we'll come in and we will do the 2 background pieces, which is a 1 inch square. I'm going to put that square on point right down into to where my points line up in the cutting track. It's up against the bumpers here. I'm going to close. And I'm going to go up and then take my pieces out. And there's one more, his beard. I believe this one, it's your white, your Whisper White, and it's a 1 1/8 inch square. We're going to go ahead and cut that. Lay that down in. And this is his beard. And the reason why I had you cut the beard, and you don't have to run the beard through an embossing folder, but if you run the square through and then try to cut it on the diagonal, it'll be fine if you use scissors, but the blade and the grooves from the embossing make it really hard to cut after the fact. So I just go ahead and I cut my triangles, and then I'll run them through the embossing folder. And the only other square that we have to cut in half is this little tiny 3/8 inch of a square that's going to go down into the corners. That's way too tiny to put into the trimmer. So I'm just going to use my snips, and I'm just going to cut corner to corner. And get my two tiny little half square triangles. And I'll set them aside. So that's the cutting that we need to do. And I went ahead and I already embossed my beard. And I used the Swirls and Curl embossing folder. It's retired, but it's one of my favorites I can't seem to get away from. So I have his beard. I'm going to put this out of the way. And now we'll come back in with our grid. Here I have my pieces. And what we're going to start is we're going to glue these down. I start with my rectangle. Remember not to use too much glue because you don't want it escaping from its boundaries. I'm going to put that down, staying within the lines. I pay more attention to the actual printed lines on the grid paper than I do my pencil marks because I'm not always really straight. I get a little wobbly, so I try to stay within the printed lines. So there's his body. And then what I'll do is when I come in to do his hat, what I want to pay attention to is that this point lines up with this line at the top. I don't want it to be over here or over here. I want it to be that point lining up with that line when I put it down. And right now while I'm making, if you're commenting, I'm not seeing them, but I will go back and read the comments. So I want to put that point on the line, and I want to make sure that this paper is butting up to the rectangle. So now we have his hat and we have his body. Okay? And then what I'll go in and do is I will fill in the background pieces. And here I'm going to glue, I'm just going to paint with my glue on the grid paper. I switch it up. Sometimes I just paint with my glue on the paper. Sometimes I flip over the actual cut pieces and glue them. I can't seem to stay with just one technique. And here I'm going to make sure my points are in the corners. If you have any paper that hangs out over the pattern that you drew out, that's okay, because when we trim this off, we'll get rid of that. And then we're going to come in and put our other piece. So this is pretty easy so far, isn't it? And we're not going to do the beard. We're not going to put the beard on right now, because what I could decide is, I'm going to let this glue have a chance to dry, but when I trim this out, I'm going to run this through an embossing folder. Of course, the subtle embossing folder, because it's like my favorite. But I want to run that through, and I don't want to do it with the beard on there, because I'm popping that up. So what we'll do right now is we're just going to set this aside. And we are going to bring in our beard. And I want to make a nose. So I'm going to use some petal pink. And I didn't have anything to cut a small oval. So I brought in the apple builder punch. I'm going to punch this leaf out. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round off those edges there. So if you can see, I've got my petal pink in there. Set that aside. So I have this shape, and all I'm going to do is bring my snips in, and I'm going to round off. Well, I'm not going to get picky. It's not nice and round, but I'm not going to get picky. Noses aren't perfect, right? Oh, now I'm making it a little bit smaller. So I just rounded off those corners. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue, just a little dot, and I'm going to glue his little nose down. Okay. Press that in there, because you want the glue to get down into the grooves of your embossing folder. But see, what happened is I got some glue on my finger, then touched my nose. So what I'm going to do is put a little baby powder on my fingers and rub that over it, so there's nothing sticky there. Okay, so we've got that. So we can set his beard aside. And I think we can come in. I'm going to use the guillotine trimmer. This cuts so well. I'm going to line it up with the 2-inch line on my trimmer. This is a 2-inch square. Save that for another design. Lining this edge up here with, where's my 2-inch? There you go. With the 2-inch. And I'm just going to put this all the way around. Bring this back down into camera. Let's move this. Get rid of our scraps. And we have trimmed out our gnome. Thank you for sharing, Jean. There's a girl gnome in the Stampin' Up set. I can't remember her name. I will have to go and look at that. She has no beard. Okay. Good to know, you guys. Thank you for looking that up for me. It was one of those things that I just never thought about. So good to know. You can. But then I'm wondering, how could you take this pattern and they would know it's a gnome if there's no beard? My mind just can't picture that right now. I'll have to look into that, because us girls can't be slighted in a card if we're doing something like this with a pattern. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to put my body into my embossing folder, and I'm going to run this through real quick. Okay, and then I am going to turn it the other way because I like that linen look. And we'll do this, we'll run it back through again. Okay. It doesn't have a lot of detail, but it does have, I do like the texture on it. And I like that it's subtle because there's already so many different patterns going on with the paper that you certainly don't want to compete with that, because that's what's standing out to you. Okay, so we've got that. And what we'll end up doing is we're going to put some mini dimensionals on the back, and we're going to pop that beard up. But I like to wait and do this towards the end, so you can see what it looks like. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 1/4 inch square of cardstock. Yep, 2 1/4. And we are going to adhere our gnome to that square. Trying to make sure we have equal sides showing. This is Pear Pizzazz that I'm using. And the paper that I'm using is from 'Tis the Season Christmas DSP. It's one of the papers that is on sale through Saturday. It's $11.50 in the catalog, but at 15% off, it's like $9.78. There's a select number of designer series paper that is on sale this month, but only through the 31st. So if you are finding that you need some of those papers, go ahead and get them ordered. If you need someone to shop with and you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be able to help you with that. Okay, so here we have our gnome, and it's mounted on the 2 1/4 inch square. And what I want to do now is the square that is 2.5 inches. I'm going to bring in my card base, which is a 3x6 scored in half at 3 inches. And I am going to put this down onto my card front. I'm going to have to put it right in front of me so I can see. That's not too bad. Okay. So we've got that. And while we've got our card base, let's just flip it over. Let's give this a crease. And let's take the 2 3/4 inch piece of Whisper White, and let's just put our inside into the card. I'm not doing any stamping on this one. It's such a small card. I mean, I could put a sentiment or something on the outside, but this was just going to accompany a package. And so I'm probably just going to put to and from, and then maybe, some words of endearment on the inside. You can fussy it up as however, whatever your ideas are. So here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this square with the gnome up with dimensionals. And I'm going to use larger dimensionals for that. Oops. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to bring this closer to me just so that I can see if I'm getting, but you just want to center it on that, on this red square that I've got here. Little whopper jawed there. Hold on. I think it was leaning to one side more than the other, because with the shadows it's really kind of hard to see where I'm lined up at. It's just lightly, and that's a little crooked, so bring it down here. Okay, I'm going to press that into place. And now I'm going to take the beard and I'm going to put some mini dimensionals. Okay. We'll take these off. Okay, and then I want to center this up, and this edge here should be aligned with that halfway mark that between the hat and the body. Just set that down, gently press. And there we have our Christmas gnome card. She has long hair and braids. Ooh, okay, that could be interesting to come up with a design. Thanks, Teresa. I'm going to have to give that one some thought. Maybe if you could create some braids, maybe out of the linen thread, and then tuck them underneath her hat so that they come down. So you could make her braids out of some kind of fiber, whether it's the linen thread or maybe some yarn or something, but it's got to be thin enough it doesn't add too much bulk. And then give her braids. Okay, my wheels are spinning on that one. We'll have to see what happens. Now, if you want to give it a little bit of bling, I really like using these stars. I believe these were out of the Christmas Gleaming. And I'm not sure if they're back in the catalog. I probably should have looked that up, trying to use current product. But I know this was part of the suite, and I thought the whole suite was carried over into this holiday season too. And I'm just going to put that star right up onto his hat. But you could use any of your different gems, depending on what paper you're using. For this like little fisherman gnome, for this card, I used the blue adhesive backed gems. And I put 3 of them on. You can see them twinkling. That's what I used for that one. So what do you think? It went together really quick and easy. And if you wanted to, you could punch a hole in this corner, run some thread through, and use this as a tag if you wanted. You don't necessarily have to put it in the 3x3 envelope. But I just think that these are adorable. And something I don't have, but I'm going to order it, the Wink Stella pen, because I could put some of that glossiness in his beard to give that some shine. So if you've got Wink Stella, play around with putting that on his beard to give it some shine, so that when the light hits it, you see it. That would be really pretty. Did anybody else come up with any ideas while watching or actually doing it that you would want to share with everybody? Some ideas? It is cute, isn't it, Karen? It is so easy. And you know, if you were doing this with the kids, it's a good way to learn your shapes with the rectangle and the half square triangles, and showing them how to take a square to make triangles. I was just thinking that it could be a learning experience too if you had some kids, you know, your kids around and do this project with them. And if you wanted to, you could draw out this pattern much bigger. You would just have to increase the sizes of all your pieces, but it's really easy to do once you know how big your pattern is. You're basically cutting the pattern, the square, in half, and then working in your triangles. So I hope everybody enjoyed this little project. I'm going to flip the camera around. I wanted, in case you didn't see my block of the month card kit for November that I showed on Saturday, I want to show that to you. Sign up is through the 10th of November, and then they will get sent out on the 16th, and then on the 24th I do a live putting it together so you can watch that. So I am going to flip the screen. Whoops, you don't want to see my hands. There we go. Okay, I guess I could have left all that down to show you the kit, but here's the 3 little gnomes. Whoops. Trying to get this. Oh, everything is backwards from what you think you want to do. I'll take a picture of these and put it up on the page. So those are the little 3x3 cards. I'm going to refresh my computer real quick. And while I'm doing that, I'll look for any questions. Okay, I think maybe caught up. Okay, we'll let the computer do its thing. I can catch up with those later. Let me show you the 2 cards that are the Barn Quilt Block of the Month cards for November. These blocks are nature themed when looking for quilt blocks. We have the maple leaf, and this is I'm using soft suede for the barn color, and this one here is called the bear's paw. I really love the colors that are in this one. In fact, I think these two are my absolute favorites. I've only done 2 months, but these are my favorites. And you will get everything you need to make the 2 cards. You've got your card bases. You got 2 card bases, very vanilla inserts, and the embossed pine wood plank layers that give you the look and feel of the barn. And then you get all of these colors. There's plenty here, so you will have extra if you're creating a little cardstock stash. We got Blackberry Bliss, Seaside Spray, Old Olive, Cajun Craze, Rich Razzleberry, and Cajun Craze. Those are our fall colors. So it's $10 for the kit, and you sign up simply by messaging me, and then the beginning of next week I will invoice everyone through Square. The kits get sent out on the 16th. Janice, you had a phone call? So did I. Somebody tried calling me a couple of times. I had to mute it real fast. Marilyn, I wonder what you could do to make it the standard. I will work on that, okay? And what you would probably... Do you want the gnome to be the full size 4 1/4 by 5? Is that what you're going for? Or do you just want it larger and then maybe mat it on some cardstock to fill the front of the card? Let me know, because I can try and work on that for you. That's going to take some thought, especially if you want to make it that large. Let's see if I can bring in my laptop so I'm not reaching so far. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm caught up with the comments. Marilyn, I'll definitely give that some thought and see what we can come up with. There's got to be a way to do it. So, Jean, you'd like to know too. So, let me give that some thought for today. So if there's not any more questions, I'm not going to hold you guys up. I know Karen's got her lives that she does today, and you might want to get prepared for what she's doing. It looks very interesting. And if your sister fine liners with me, we have our afternoon Facebook Live with Karen too, so I'm not going to hold you up. I guess that's it. I will talk to you guys later, and message me if you have any questions about today's project. I can help you with that, and I will see you all next Thursday. Talk to you later. Bye.